the last time I can feel that power in my hands. Beat of the drums rushing through my skin.
For the two-handed throwdown.
It's game time.
Let's go.
This is Wang. Driving in, Wang off the glass, and that will count.
We're live in Sheffield's Shark Tank, where our home team are desperately in need of a win tonight, following a horrible run of form in the league. Mind you, Surrey haven't made the long journey up the M25 to lie down quietly. Very good to have you with us for Friday night basketball. It is a packed house here in Sheffield. Drew Lasker, Mike Tuck, as ever, present and correct. Good to see you both. I think this is the very definition right now in the BBL, isn't it, Drew, of a must-win game for both sides.
You hit the nail on the head. We're getting to the meat and potatoes of the season. In particular, Surrey, there's 13 games remaining, 6 places out of that 8th and final playoff spot. It starts tonight.
Now, help us break down what on earth is happening for the Sheffield Sharks. Mike Tuck, a team very close to your heart, of course, because they started the season with so much promise, so much potential. 1 win in 11 for them in the league. What's going wrong?
Yeah, it's been a tough last couple of months for the Sharks here, and obviously they've made quite a few changes, and this is just a team that hasn't found any rhythm, and they're struggling to find their identity. Obviously, you know, a bad stretch of games in the league, but a big win against the Leicester Riders in the trophy. So signs of what the Sharks can do when they're playing at their full potential.
You're absolutely right. It has been a terrible run of form in the league for both teams, it has to be said, because they are struggling, and then some. Sheffield, with that terrible run of form, find themselves in danger of dropping out of the playoff picture totally. Sorry, with just 2 wins all season long, have a long way to go if they're even going to make the playoffs themselves. At the top, London's recent wins over Cheshire and second-place Bristol has strengthened their position at the top. They boast a superb 20-2 record. Leicester keeping up the pressure, but they are 4 wins behind right now as it stands. They are scrapping to retain their title. So that idea of Sheffield missing the playoffs, it's unfathomable, isn't it?
Well, it would be a historic event. The Sharks have never missed the playoffs in their entire history. Unfamiliar waters for the Sharks right now.
Right, see what you did there, and I like it.
Nice.
At the other end of proceedings, Lions in control, it's fair to say, but the title is not locked in. It's a huge game next Friday night, which I'm delighted to say we have right here on Sky Sports, because they're heading to Leicester, and I guess the Riders, if they are putting a title run together, will need to get the points that night.
Absolutely. Like you mentioned, we're talking about the Leicester Riders, winners of 3 trophies last year, so it's never over until it's over, but they got to get it done next week if they're going to make some noise and make a run to that league title.
One thing is for certain, irrespective of whether the Lions do hold on and take the title, it's not going to be a clean sweep for them, because they've gone down in the trophy to the Caledonia Gladiators in Glasgow. A scoreline that I think very few predicted, 52-50, for the defensive purists out there. Drew, you didn't have 52-50, did you, on your scorecard?
I didn't, but I mean, the scoreline is surprising, but I spoke to the London Lions organization, and they said from the beginning of this competition, they had plans to play their younger roster, and they learned more in those 2 games than they did over 50 practices this year.
It was great to see some of the younger players getting some time on court. Great to see the Derby Trailblazers through to the semi-finals. They shocked the Patriots down in Plymouth, and the defending champions, the Cheshire Phoenix, took down Surrey. They now face Sheffield in the semi-final, as Mike alluded to just a moment ago. The Sharks battling to a superb victory in Leicester. I've got to ask straight off the bat, Mike, what this will do to their confidence, because we've highlighted their terrible run of form in the league, but this is as good as it gets.
Like I said, this is the game where the Sharks really showed their potential and played up for the moment. I was actually at the game. It was a beautiful thing to watch. You know, everybody was firing on all cylinders. The ball was moving around. They were taking the shots at the right times and finishing out plays. And a great game for the Sharks, a big game for their confidence. Now, will that translate over into these league games? That's the question.
Did we see you in the background there jumping up and down? I think we did.
The fist was pumping, baby.
I think we did. We've got to shout out Derby as well. So important that the NBL sides play, compete, and in their case succeed in a major trophy. But on to tonight's game, and we'll start looking in a little bit more detail at the Sheffield Sharks. The T-Bone Lions making adjustments to the roster. He's released players, brought new faces in, and the objective, Mike, is to get the team playing faster, speedier ball, get some small ball rolling.
Yeah, definitely. Going with a smaller lineup, but a much quicker lineup. And I think ever since the addition of Ramsey, he's really helped speed up the game. But the Sharks are traditionally a team that like to play in the half court. But, the league is changing now. It's transforming, and you've got to be able to play in that full court, in that transition game. So the addition of Ramsey and now with Pipkins as well, the Sharks are looking to get that between that 10, 15, 20 points in transition.
Well, offense has been the big issue all season long, averaging under 72 points, just under 72 a game, which is dead last in the BBL. So they brought in this guy to change things up. He's had one game under his belt so far. Didn't play that many minutes, but you saw him, Mike. How did he look?
Yeah, he only got in a few days before the last week's game against Manchester, but had a great start. Had 9 points, was knocked 3 from 5 down from 3, and I think this is the type of player that the Sharks need right now. An aggressive scorer, a guy who looked to shoot the 3, but he also is a dog on the defensive end, was an all-defensive player, an all-league player coming from university. That's
something that Atiba Lions emphasized his defensive prowess when he signed him. How instrumental is Bennett Cook to the Sheffield defense, given the fact that, despite their offensive wise, ranked number 2 in the BBL defensively?
Yeah, I mean, Bennett's the big man in the middle, and a lot of the things go through him. The Sharks usually look to go to him early in the game, and if he can get going, he is a nightmare to guard in the post. And typically, when he has a good game, the Sharks have a good game.
Now, Jordan Ratino is, of course, one of the more explosive three-point shooters in the game. And Surrey's a team you can score on. They're giving up almost 87 per game, and they're particularly wicked defending from three-point range. So he's going to be licking his chops tonight, Drew.
Yeah, especially Jordan, because he needs to get his season going. His numbers are down from last year, but this is a guy with talent, as you mentioned, can shoot, rebound, all-around player, and tonight he can get it going.
All right, let's take a closer look at Surrey. Drew, you had the Scorchers as your surprise team this season. So did Kieran, and to be fair, so did Ant and Dan as well. So, Tuck, you are absolutely in the clear here at the moment. But why did most of you, have such high hopes for them at the start of the season? Here they are, Drew, with just 2 wins all season.
Well, because they were healthy. I don't think we've seen that team that I saw in the preseason. It's been a season of flux, but a team that's very talented and has potential.
No Patiet Wang, their leading scorer tonight, and arguably their star player. He's on international duty. They've got some very experienced players around him, though, including Josh Steele, who, incidentally, outside of his prowess on court, has a brilliant YouTube channel that you should all go and check out. Andrew Lawrence, very established Team GB guard, but he's had injury issues. We've mentioned the injury problems that the team have had. So a brand new signing we expect to star for the run in this season. Josh McFoley. Dan was telling me pre-game, this is a player who's scored wherever he's been, Drew.
Yeah, and that's one thing that translates. If you can score, you can put that ball in an orange ring, you can do it anywhere. And that's something that the Surrey Scorchers need, whereas they rank 9th in the league in scoring. So he will help fill that void for the Surrey Scorchers.
Hasn't played in a while, though, Mike, which is obviously going to be a concern tonight.
Yeah, finished last season, was sitting out up until this point, but had a quick few words with the guys on the team. They said he arrived on Monday, and he looks like he's in shape. And just watching him and shoot around here, the guy looks like he can really shoot the ball. And in his past teams, he's shot the ball at volume 3s.
Here's Carl Carey we're seeing getting set. He was a fan favourite his previous side, the Phoenix, part of their trophy-winning side last season, of course. When Lloyd Gardner signed him, Drew, he said, this is a player who's improved year on year. Have you seen further improvement with him this year?
Absolutely. In particular, his 3-ball shooting. That's something that lacked early in his career. Now he can stretch the defense out, and he brings his one-man fast break ability as well.
Former London Lion and a real leader on the court, Ryan Martin, a hugely influential presence defensively. Mike, 86 defensive boards and counting this season.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Martin, he's one of the more experienced guys on the team, and he's a player that the guys will all be looking up to help lead these guys, and that's what they need right now. They need a leader to emerge from this group.
All right, then. It is a key game for both coaches tonight. There's a lot riding on it. Let's hear from both of them. Drew caught up with Lloyd Gardner and Atiba Lions a little bit earlier on.
Coach, one win in the last 11 games. What's caused the slide?
I mean, it's a few things. It's never just one. It's a culmination of unlucky, injuries and illnesses and shots not falling our way. It's a culmination of a few things.
Another new guard in Jason Pipkins. What was needed at this point?
I thought we just needed another dynamic player, someone that can bring some athleticism to the front court. He can score in a few different ways. Bringing some intensity and some big guard defense on the other end too.
And what positives have you drawn from the trophy win over Leicester?
Well, we got it in us. We're right there. We've been right there in a lot of games all season. We haven't been, embarrassed or just kind of just walked over. So it's a weird year. We've played everyone really close. We've beaten the top teams in the past, and just got to get ourselves going again.
And finally, Coach, what are you demanding from your team tonight?
I just want us to stay focused. Like you said, we're still alive in the trophy. We're still alive in the playoffs. So that's all that's important. The wins and losses are great, but as long as we try to reach ultimate goals of fighting for silver and making the playoffs, that's what we're trying to do.
Coach, just 2 wins on the league this year. What's your assessment of the season so far?
Disappointing, inconsistent, probably the 2 biggest words that come to mind straight away. Obviously, results haven't been like we would expect. And then performances have just been inconsistent. Some really good play in every game. A lot of good, games through 3 quarters. Just haven't been able to kind of sustain it or make a run in the fourth when we've really needed to.
And how have you been able to keep the guys positive during this turbulent season?
Yeah, I mean, it's been hard. It's been up and down. I think we've got a good group of characters. Guys themselves have been positive. They're ready to work. We've still got confidence within the camp. We can turn things around. We can pick up some wins as this season goes on. We just, feel like we've got to get some healthy bodies on the floor. Now, again, maybe that's played into our consistency, the fact that it's been so changeable with who is healthy, who isn't healthy, who's in, who's out.
And speaking of that consistency, what void does new guard Josh McFarley fill?
Well, he's healthy and he's a point guard, which is a massive step for us right now. He's a guy that's kind of got a bit of experience, played in Europe before, can score, can defend, can kind of do a bit of everything. And it's been a battle for us at the point guard position. We're 2-3 guys down again today at that spot, so expect him to feature heavily. It'll be a big weekend for him. He's straight into the fire.
Coach, thanks for your time. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Mike, you can understand his frustration with all the injuries that they've had.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a team that's stacked with talent. There's a lot of great players out there that can do a lot of good things. But obviously, when you have injuries like that, it's very frustrating as a coach that you can't reach your full potential. So frustrating season for him. But like we said off camera, this is a transition year for the Surrey Scorchers. New coach, new GM. They're trying to find their footing.
Sheffield played disciplined ball, don't they? They protect the ball very well. We've talked about their great defense. If they get both of those things on point again tonight, is it going to be too high a mountain for Surrey to climb, given their offensive woes?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about what Sheffield needed. We know the difference between both teams is that Sheffield can defend. On the other side with Surrey, they just got to be able to close. They've been in every single game, and hopefully they can get it going tonight. All
right, we're getting close to tip-off here in Sheffield, and I think it's fair to say that both teams tonight know exactly what time it is.
It's game time, baby. Prime time.
Oh, my goodness! Nelson with a huge block. The summary of that is where he's super effective.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please put your hands together for the first time tonight.
Surrey needs something to kickstart their season. The Sharks are looking for the same thing, quite frankly. We're almost ready for tip-off here in Sheffield, guiding you through. Let's check in with the dynamic and colour-coordinated duo of Anne Rose and Dan Ravage.
Thank you very much, Nat. Totally by accident, I promise you. Interesting game here tonight. Two teams that desperately need a win out.
You can't help but feel it's a must-win for both parties, even more so for the home team. This is a Sheffield Sharks team we're not used to seeing this far down in the table. Must-win here in the fish tank.
Well, let's have a look at the starting fives for Sheffield. First of all, no Kipper Nichols. First game this season, he hasn't started, but we do have Pipkins into the starting lineup for the first time in his second game.
Well, if you're a new player and your coach is thrusting you in that starting five, it means you've won his confidence early. So look for Pipkins to make his mark early, and Bennett Cook, that all-proven centre, leading to look for them to go to him early.
And at the other end of the floor, a debutant into the point guard starting position. You don't see that very often. But Josh McFoley, desperate times call for desperate measures. How will he do on his debut?
Point guards are in short supply on that roster, so they're going to thrust McFoley in the deep end. Let's see if he can swim. But a resurgence there of captain Teo Ogundendi back in the starting five will boost the team's confidence here going into this fixture.
Well, there is Pipkins into the starting lineup in only his second game for the club. Had a decent debut in 14 minutes, but at the other end of the floor, McFoley, who hasn't played all season, thrown straight in to the starting lineup. But as you say, not a great deal of options for Lloyd Gardner to deal with, given the injuries that they've had. And, well, let's hope he hits the ground running. Well, the ball went up a little quick there. I don't think either player was ready for it. Cook wins the opening tip. Sheffield get the first possession.
That's the strangest jump ball I've ever seen in my life. Is that a depiction of things to come?
Well, I'm the person who lobbies for the jump ball to come back in a hell ball situation, but not if it's going to be like that. Early foul called on Nelson for an illegal screen. Actually, it's Cook, I think it might have gone down as.
Not great news for the Sharks because they'll look to establish Bennett Cook early, and the big guy got to be really careful playing down low.
Nice spin along the baseline from Denby, but nothing doing.
Looking to go to Teo Ogundendi early, that experience.
Both points of the game lobbed in by Rotino.
And that's a good sign. Rotino's been one of those up and down players this year. Not used to seeing him like that. Like his team last year, he was very consistent, very prominent on the offensive spreadsheet. But this year, struggled to find that flow.
Martin putting it on the floor. Has the size over Rotino, but can't finish.
That's just great individual defense there from Rotino. Used his body, stood up straight, didn't reach down, made things very difficult for Martin there.
Nelson from the elbow, back iron. Coach Gardner beckoning his team to attack down court, go quickly. Denby taking it to the rim and is fouled.
Well, two positive moves going towards the rim for Ogundendi, and Teo hasn't seen the ball drop through the hoop just yet, but he's being aggressive and making things happen for his team early.
Well, that one was called on Bennett Cook. The original one was called on Nelson, so it's only his first.
Never second guess yourself, Dan. You were
second guessing me. Well, we talked about the injuries. They also have an absentee in Paddy Wang, who's playing with, played with South Sudan earlier today. They won that game, and for the first time ever, South Sudan going to the FIBA Basketball World Cup. An incredible achievement for Wang and his teammates, and of course for Luol Deng, who heads up the program, the former Great Britain legend, doing great things with South Sudan. As I say, the first time they've ever reached a World Cup.
Well, great achievement all around there, and Surrey Scorchers will be wishing there was a teleportation device now, because Paddy Wang brings them so much in terms of energy, production, 13 points a game, but again, he's those high-flying players that can make things happen. They will be sorely missing his services this evening.
Well, he should come back in buoyant mood, that's for sure. Shot clock getting low here, needs to go up. Holding for three, off the mark. Great work from Pipkins to pull in that rebound. Pipkins dancing his way down the lane for two.
Beautiful first, a strong defensive rebound and then out to the races. One man fast break there by himself. Finishes the play.
Martin picked it up in a bit of an awkward spot there, gets it to Johnson. Johnson throws it away, Rotino has it. Around it comes to Ramsey. Ramsey, long elbow, it's good for two.
It's actually good defense there, good contest from Cole Carey, but Ramsey was just created for himself and just hit a tough shot.
Here's Martin trying to bully his way to the basket, but Rotino did a decent job there, and Drew Lasker's joined us in commentary. That's the thing with Rotino. Playing Rotino at 4, he gives up some size, but he plays hard down there.
Yeah, and Surrey likes to go inside early and often, and so that's a matchup they're going to look to take advantage of here tonight.
Pipkins for three, knocks it down, and Sheffield Sharks off to a good offensive start here.
And that's where the advantage can come. The ball movement there, that's so much slicker when you've got guards on the floor. Spreading the floor makes things very difficult for the defense to contest everything.
Nice shot, classic Teo Ogundengbe there.
And that's one thing that Teo brings to the table, out most of the season with a pec injury, but he can bring that post game. He can get to the line, and he's developed into a corner three shooter later in his career.
Pipkins knocks down another triple.
Oh, he looks like that player that the Sharks have been missing. Instant offense. We've seen the Sharks go periods of games without being able to score, and Pipkins is making it look easy.
Well, Carey had some game, a career game. Oh, Johnson went for the monster jam. Sheffield in transition, and they score, and this is something that they haven't had much of this season.
Yes, the Sheffield Sharks are playing at a much faster pace. They got 14 points in the first 5 minutes. We've seen plenty of times this year as Ramsey gets a steal out on the break.
Ramsey will lay it in. Well, Sheffield are last in the league in fast break points, averaging 9 a game. That's 2 less than Surrey, who is second last. But we've seen already here in the first 5 minutes how they can now, with this smaller, quicker unit, get out on the floor.
And this is what the doctor ordered for the Sheffield Sharks. We know what they bring to the table on the defensive end, but what we talked about the last 2 years was the offensive side of the ball, and especially during this part of the season, it gets tougher to score.
Well, before the game, Drew caught up with Jordan Rotino.
Jordan, huge win in Leicester to advance to the trophy semifinals. What was the mood after the big upset?
Yeah, it was a big win for us. Definitely a mood shifter. It keeps us alive in the trophy competition, and then obviously we're still in the playoff picture for the championship. So we still have all to play for, and that's the attitude that we have moving forward.
And 8th in the league, what would you say the inconsistency boils down to?
Yeah, we've had a couple different team dynamics this year, new guys coming in, players leaving. I think it's just consistency. I think now we're starting to build that, and I like how the team's looking going forward.
And how do you assess your personal play this season?
Yeah, I mean, I've just been trying to build around the team. Obviously, I'm always one of those type of guys who just does what I can to win and try to do all the little things for the team. But I mean, obviously, it doesn't translate to wins. It doesn't feel as good. So hopefully, we could get in that win column going the rest of the way.
And in terms of team morale, just how vital is the win tonight?
It's big for us. We're definitely pushing for the win. It'll definitely have us feeling a little bit better moving forward in the championship. So yeah, it'll be a little bit of a relief for us, but we're going game by game.
Thanks for your time, Jordan.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, one of the interesting things he said there, Drew, he's talking about the fact they've had guys come in and out, but how they've done it as well is they've not necessarily been like-for-like switches, so they've had to change style a couple of times this year as well.
And that's the toughest thing in which he mentioned there is not the personnel, it's the style and play from going to a traditional dump the ball inside to now they're playing with a much faster pace, which takes some adjustment, especially when you've been in a system and as systematic as the Sheffield Sharks.
Here's Ramsey. Inside to Cook, who's not had too many touches down low yet in this game. Normally they go to him early, and that's why they go to him, because he's so many post moves down there.
I mean, that's what they still have as well. We're saying about the change in identity, playing small ball, more guards up there, but they've still got the big pillar inside, the 6'11", Bennett Cook, so they can still play out the post. He's a good passer out of the post as well. So look for a lot more open shots here for the Sharks to have.
Here's Carey, dumps it off to Johnson, who lays it in for 2.
He's a player that I want the Surrey Scorchers to get involved more. I think Johnson's been one of those guys who's had good games. He's athletic, he's big. Hilton, wow, stays with the play there and gets it to go against the bigger defender. He's coming up worse.
Yeah, Martin's slow to his feet. He's joined the play now, though. Cross court, Carey has to do well to keep that in. McFoley, all string for 3.
Goodness me, he shot that before he caught it, didn't he? Nothing but net. That looks like a scorer to me, a natural-born scorer.
And sometimes that's all you need, right? To see that ball go in the hoop just one time as he makes his season debut tonight. More to come.
Well, the first 3 points of his BBL career. Here's Nelson late in the shot clock. Trying to find some room, tosses it up and knocks it down.
That's not the first difficult shot Sharks have made this evening, and you can't help but feel sympathy for Scorchers, who did everything but get a stop there.
Well, McFoley's going to let another one fly, and that one drops. 2 threes in a row.
On the money. Once you see that first shot, now he has a little bounce to its step, and so let it rain here in the tank tonight for the Surrey Scorchers.
Pipkins. Cook trying to get the rebound, does get the rebound, and jams it in.
Good energy there from Bennett Cook. Really difficult to stop when he's got the ball that close. His long arms, outreach there, was able to beat Johnson to that offensive rebound and dunks it back.
24 points in 7 minutes for Sheffield. They're the lowest scoring team in the league. They are on pace for a big number here. Foley again, shaking and breaking, shovels it off, and Johnson's little lane rims out, but comes right back to him, and this time he makes no mistake.
And that's what you do, stick with it, as Johnson misses the first one, but as the ball bobbles around, he picks up the loose change and punches it through.
That's it, staying busy can create good luck, and on that occasion they had a bit of fortune with the ball bouncing back, but they got it to go.
Nelson with the mid-range, all string, and Sheffield shooting really well here, 10 for 13 so far. Well, Ramsey just slightly hobbling out of the game as Sheffield make a triple substitution with Glasgow and Nichols and Del Pashier. Changes 2 for Surrey with Dobbs and Jack Domney into the game. Here's Steele. Late in the shot clock, he's going to fire up another 3. That one's a little short. Dobbs trying to keep it alive, doing so to Carey. Oh, he's going to fire another 3. Mike Tuck mentioned he's a volume shooter. We've seen that in the first quarter as well. Jack Dominic, defense scrambling a little bit. And it's a triple for Dobbs.
That's just great energy from Scorchers, and the impacts there, just hunting down those offensive rebounds. Sharks could not come anywhere close to contending on that occasion. They finally results in a 3.
Delpesh. Pipkins. Crowd counting down the shot clock. Rare miss for Sheffield. Fields pass deflected right back to him. Dominic trying to use his size and strength, backing down Delpesh. Good footwork as well. Then he tosses it in for 2.
That's a great move, and I love that matchup. Jack Dominic versus Delpesh. 2 big, strong bodies banging down low, and it's Jack Dominic that finishes on top this time.
Well, 26-21, the score here in Sheffield. And before the game, Drew caught up with the Surrey captain, Teo Ogundegbon.
Teo, out for most of the season with a pec injury. How does it feel to be back out there?
Amazing, man. I can't wait to get back playing and get with the team and contribute in it any way I can.
In year 16, what is your role for this team at this stage of your career?
My role is ever changing. We've had a lot of injuries, so at the moment I'm trying to fit in, do what I can to help the team get a W.
And 2-21 on the season as captain, what has been your message to the team to keep them uplifted?
I mean, we've been in pretty much every game we've played, so it's just about mental concentration. Whoever wins that mental battle will end up winning the game on our side. So as long as we can keep that mental concentration, I think we'll end up getting some wins towards the end of the season.
And on that race to the 8th and final playoff spot, does that begin tonight?
Definitely. We've not given up. We're definitely a team that are going to fight all the way to the end. We know there's wins that we can still get, so we're still fighting to get into that playoff spot.
Appreciate your time, Teo.
Thank you.
Well, Drew, they don't have an easy run into the end of the season, and they need a lot of wins and a lot of wins quickly. It's about momentum here. They've got to grab it and hold on to it as quickly as they can.
And you said it, Dan, momentum, and that starts here tonight. And the one thing the Surrey Scorchers have been in most games, they lost 2 overtime games and 3 games by less than 5 points in just the last couple of games. So they're right there. They just need to close it out down the stretch.
Nelson shot is short. It comes all the way back to him, though. Squeezes a pass through to Delpesh underneath.
Oh, Delpesh just staying ready under the rim there with the acrobatic finish. And onto the previous point there, you've got players as well like Teo, who's going to be thrown back in the mix here. You win a lot more games that go down to the stretch. You've got more experienced players. The experience doesn't come much more richer than Teo Ogundegbon.
Last couple of seconds in the first quarter here. Ratino open for 3, knocks it down, and Sheffield have 31 points on the board at the end of the first quarter, and they have a double-figure lead. The perfect opening quarter for Atiba Lyons and his team. Well, before the game, we were wondering if the new signings, both thrust into the starting 5, could deliver. Boy, they have in the opening quarter. Can they keep it up? Sheffield by 10. We'll have the second quarter right after this. Surrey with 21 of their own. Looking to make inroads here with the first possession of the second quarter. Jack Domney wants it down low. Squares up to Delpesh. Trying to move him out of the way, and illegally so, says the referee. And that'll be an offensive foul.
Yeah, I don't agree with that call there. That's the same kind of power that Jack Domney put on Delpesh a couple of possessions before. I feel like Delpesh kind of laid down there, but that's very unfortunate call there for Bobin.
Big man view?
Delpesh sold it and the referees brought it. Don't like it.
Pipkins. It's Delpesh trying to get something back himself and gets a couple of points.
It's a lot easier doing it that way.
Yeah.
That way you don't get any room for error or any inadvertent whistles. Good play there from Delpesh, back to back.
And he gets a hand on that to deflect it away.
Looked like a reaching foul to me there.
Somebody get Drew a grey shirt here, because we know Drew's obviously an expert on the rules, having played for, what was it, 18 years you played, Drew?
16.
16.
I'd recommend you get a grey turtleneck.
Yeah, well, that's the fashion I've heard. Oh, there's a foul call there. Foul is on Josh McFoley. And he's going to... Oh, yeah, slightly clumsy one. But, yeah, where is the grey shirt?
You know what? That's one thing that I will never attest to be as a referee. They got the toughest gig in the job. We're just here talking about the game, so a credit to those three guys that's out there. Never aspired to be one.
Did you not put him in the memo for the grey tonight?
No, he's in the loop now. He's in the loop.
Well, you guys, I'm not in the group text. You know, I haven't made it there yet. Still got work to do.
Still working on it. Here's Delpesh going strong off the glass. Just bubbles out for him.
Well, they're going back to Delpesh and good inside positioning from there. Just unfortunately, he didn't have the roll on the ball there.
Round it comes to Teo in the corner, doesn't go for three. Delpesh keeps it alive for Sheffield. Glasgow pushing, pulls up from 15 feet. He's more than comfortable knocking that down.
And I spoke with Rodney Glasgow earlier in the week, and he said his struggles this season has been balancing the captain title along with his own game. But he said lately he's getting back to himself, and that pull-up jumper looks like the old Rodney Glasgow.
Foul called as Ogundengme hits the deck. It's on Ratino. And it'll be 2 free throws.
Teo Ogundengme just showing the versatility in the block. And we saw as well a previous play. Good ball movement from Surrey Scorchers and got the corner 3 ball there for Teo Ogundengme. Didn't knock it down, but again, this is a guy who's been out for the majority of the season. It's only a matter of time before he starts hitting those down, and that then again contributes to the overall production of this Surrey Scorchers team.
Tino's second foul sees him sit down early in the second quarter.
And this has been an area that the Surrey Scorchers have really missed with Teo. As you see the stats there, they get to the free throw line the least amongst the 10 teams, but we know that's one thing that Teo can do is get to the free throw line.
Well, the other issue they've had is they're the second worst free throw shooting team when they do get there, as evidenced by that trip. Nichols at the top of the key, rims out, bouncing about. Sorry, able to come up with it. Didn't have enough on that pass, Kyle Carey. Stolen away by Nelson, who gives it right back to Josh Steele. Well, Carey's in an awkward spot, turns it over again. Comedy of errors here.
Sloppy basketball from both clubs. And, these are the two teams as well in the league that cannot be careless with the basketball. And That's the one thing you would say about the Sheffield Sharks, their saving grace. You see in the categories, they're last in a lot of the different categories, but one area they've been very good at, and that's been looking after the basketball turnovers. They lead the league in terms of least amount of turnovers.
And Surrey, conversely, last in that category with the most turnovers of any side.
And we know, gentlemen, this time of year, it gets more difficult to score. And the one thing that you can't afford to do after playing great basketball on the defensive end is hand the ball to the team with unforced errors.
Teo's gone in too early there. Oh, they let him off that. He sort of fell over. His hands were definitely in the paint. Carey thought about the three, had an unbelievable shooting game last week, particularly in the first half. Stolen away again. Glasgow, another pull-up, another 2 points.
That was awful offense from Surrey Scorchers, just awful, really poor movement with the ball and without the ball. Players were static, ball was held in their hands way too long. It resulted in a turnover and then an easy 2 points for Sheffield Sharks.
Martin pulling his way to the basket, gets his own rebound. Second attempt is good.
Great effort there by Ryan Martin to try to get to the basket and stop the Sheffield run, as that's their first bucket of the second quarter here for the Surrey Scorchers.
Hopkins lobs it up a little too high for Delpesh to reach.
And that's a continuity thing. Of course, Hopkins is only 2 games in, not even 2 whole games in, so there's little things like that where those passes become a little bit crisper and a little bit more on target when you play with individuals more so.
Sheffield with a bit of full court pressure just to slow the Scorchers down. He's going to fire up the 3, and he's going to knock it down. Yet another one, his third of the game.
And I don't think Bennett cooked on the scout report there on McFarlane as it's a late challenge, but that's one thing that he can do. You talk about volume shooter, he's a volume scorer as well.
Cook driving the lane, kicks it to Kipper Nichols, who knocks it down.
I don't know how many times the Sharks have practiced in this facility this week, but their jump shots are falling bottom of the net.
72% field goal shooting through almost 15 minutes here. Johnson driving hard, takes the foul and 1.
Shackham Johnson, aggressive move, went right at Bennett Cook there, and I really want them to get him more involved. He's not as creative in the low block as a Boban Jack Domley, but he's someone that can really do damage down there, and that'll be Bennett Cook's second foul. Nice take.
Well, there is a substitution for Sheffield, but it's not for Cook. Nelson returns to the game for Rodney Glasgow Jr. Nelson's first job is to grab the rebound. Nichols out to Pipkins for 3, and he knocks it down. And that is his third 3 of the game.
Yeah, Pipkins is really answering the bell by being thrust into the start.
Oh, Johnson with the jam.
Goodness me, so athletic. The springs he has in those calves. Injection towards the rim there. Nice finish.
Well, the one thing you would say, watching Surrey this season, they haven't had too many wins, but Johnson plays hard at both ends all the way through. He's committed the foul there, but he gives up on nothing.
No, he doesn't. And Ty Nelson's a guy as well. He's very creative. Coach Atiba Lyons said that he wants more dynamic guards, and that's a guard that's really dynamic. And here's the play before. Shackham Johnson skies over Bennett Cook, who's 6'11", by the way. Pushes it through the rim.
He's seen the top 10 plays of the week. You saw that approach. That was a business decision there by Bennett Cook.
It was. He has firmly secured a spot on that top 10.
Nelson at the line, looking to extend Sheffield's 14-point lead. Coach Gardner looking on, wondering how his team are going to get back into this. This guy might provide the answer as he gets all the way to the rim. Knocked again loose by Johnson. Martin going in, and it's an offensive foul on Ryan Martin.
Sometimes when you've got that one thing in your mind, you're so conscious of going at the rim and nothing else is in your mind. I think Bennett Cook was there. It's Ryan Martin who's initiating the contact there, and I think a relatively easy call there and the right call from the referee.
Well, the interesting thing is if his feet had been flat on the ground, I think it would have been stood on the circle. Yep. But his feet, he was kind of on his toes, so he wasn't on the line.
Great defensive play there.
Of course, if his feet had been on the line, it couldn't have been called a charge. Here's Pipkins with Steele putting a hand in his face. Cook trying to keep it in bounds. Somebody in the front row got a close-up view of Bennett Cook there. Martin. His three off the mark.
It's an unfortunate miss there because we've seen Ryan Martin. He really likes that, stepping into that shot. When he's got time, you consistently knock that down.
Ramsey creates a little room for himself and knocks it down, and that is the biggest lead of the ball game for the Sheffield Sharks at 17. And Coach Gardner wants to talk things over, and really it's at this end of the floor that Surrey are having the most problems. 30 points in 17 minutes isn't the end of the world. 47 points against is way too many, Drew.
And that is the difference between both teams. We talked about it at the top. Both teams last in the league in scoring, but the one thing that the Sheffield Sharks can hang their hat on is on the defensive end, which they're showing here today. Only giving up 30 points, and then on the other hand, Surrey haven't been able to string together stops all season, and unfortunately, you're seeing that tonight.
Well, the other thing about it is the efficiency with which Sheffield have scored. They are 21 of 29 from the floor. 29 shots, only 8 misses in total. They're perfect from behind the arc. You have to make it more difficult for them.
Yeah, and you touched on it earlier about them practicing in this gym, but we've seen them miss a lot of shots in this gym. I honestly think it has to do with pace. It's clear they're playing a much faster pace. Think about how many fast break opportunities they got, and what does that do? It gives you confidence, and then all of a sudden that basket becomes an ocean, and we're seeing that from outside the paint for the Sheffield Sharks.
No, I agree, and I think the change comes with Pipkins as well. It's that, you know, when the Sharks go through a 5-minute, 6-minute, 7-minute period where they can't score the ball, where Pipkins just came in here and made it look effortless. So the pressure on the team to score, play after play, when that drought becomes larger, the pressure becomes harder to break. So I think having that offensively gifted player to come in the mix here and show the team that it's really not that difficult, and it just breeds confidence in everyone else.
Well, just some context behind Sheffield's shooting numbers. They are last in the league in field goal percentage, field goals made, field goals attempted, 3-point percentage, 3 points made, and 3 points attempted. And yet their numbers are off the charts here today. Nelson driving hard, and that's going to be another offensive foul. Kyle Carey getting there. Again, he would have been close to the no-charge circle.
And that's where you've got this very close. Kyle Carey making a brave and intelligent defensive play there, just outside.
Just outside.
But that's knowing your personnel. That's someone that's watched the film and know what Saeed Nelson likes to do, get to the basket and get in the shoulder square and draw on the charge. So great heads-up play there by
Kyle Carey's one of those guys as well. He does a little bit of everything. He'll do whatever the team needs. Last game in the overtime loss to the Plymouth Patriots, he had 33 points, and you kind of wish you want him to be a little bit more aggressive in that area, just because he can. You know, he's a formidable shooter. You know, given the 3-point shots, he knocks them down. So you want him to take on a little bit more responsibility on that end of the floor.
Well, he was 6 of 7 from the three-point line in the first half. He's not taken a single shot here today. His steal, driving hard to the hole, bats it up in the air, and again, Sheffield in transition. Carey is back. Nelson this time avoids him and lays it in.
And that's just like Nelson studying the game, and that time being a little bit more elusive as he used the Euro step to dance around Kyle Carey for 2.
Turned over again. Sheffield looking to put the half century on the board before half-time. Cook looking for room along the baseline, can't find it, and he does in the end, and that will be good for 2.
Surrey Scorchers are in trouble here. Both ends of the floor, they're struggling. Offensively, they look a little lost at times, and they're trying to create by themselves. You can tell they've got a new point guard in the mix.
Nice drive to the basket and a good finish as well. He's up to 11 now.
Crafty move there. Nice finish from McFoley, but the issue is you've got 4 other guys there just ball watching. You've got to figure out a way here to have sustainable collective offensive production.
Cook back out to Nelson, puts it on the floor, high off the glass.
Defensively, Surrey Scorchers cannot get a stop, and the confidence is just booming for the Sheffield Sharks, who could do very little wrong on that end of the floor.
Oh, it's turned over again. Pipkins in the open court, taking it right to the rim. Glasgow with the follow count, tip it in. Martin underneath, lays it in. And Atiba Lyons just wants to draw something up here, I think. Last couple of plays of the first half, 53-34 after that score. And Atiba Lyons with the timeout.
Well, I think Atiba Lyons will be just wanting to tighten up on the details here now, and it's this camp right here that needs to have more time to discuss how to correct things. They need to correct things very quickly, or this game is going to get out of hand if it hasn't already.
Well, that is the problem for Surrey. 34 points is, again, it's a little low for a half of basketball, but you cannot give up 53 and a half, and maybe more than that, particularly on the road, and hope to survive.
No, and I think to be critical, you can understand from an offensive point of view, they're going to be disjointed, and that's part of the problem, right? You know, offensively, they haven't been collective because they haven't been a consistent unit, which leads to their turnovers, which leads to early easy points for the Sheffield Sharks. But on the defensive end, you see multiple breakdowns. Effort hasn't been great as well on the defensive end, and that's one area that you would expect that, you know, a team that's bottom of the league to make sure that they're turning up for us on the defensive end, applying energy and applying effort.
Kipper Nichols will inbound. Pipkins with a little shake, getting all the way to the rim and lays it in.
Incredible! Pipkins just took off, adjusted in the air, took the contact and finished the play.
Around the three-point line it goes. There's a blocking foul. It's the fourth, so it won't send them to the line, but what it will do is turn the shot clock off so Surrey can take the final shot of the game. There was about a 3.5 second differential between game and shot clock. He's gone all the way to the rim once again. 13 first half points. He's been the bright spot for the Surrey Scorchers in that first half, but they head to the locker room with a lot of work to do. Pipkins has led the Sheffield Sharks with 13 first half points, and it's 56-36 here at Ponds Forge in favor of the Sharks, and 55 points for the Sheffield Sharks. It's the most points they've scored against a BBL team in a half in
What a half this has been for the Sheffield Sharks, and how key might this half be as far as their whole season goes, because they came into this one on tilt, not that you'd know it, offensively rolling, everyone getting in on the act. They played into a 10-point lead at the end of the first quarter. Surrey fighting back at times, but half-time it is a 19-point lead for Sheffield. Certainly a big smile on your face, Mike Tuck. Let's break this down a little bit more. We talked at the top about the adjustment we were expecting to see offensively from Sheffield. We've certainly seen it because they're unrecognizable. Explain what's changed, what's different.
Yeah, so we talked about that adjustment before the game. The Sharks are going to go with a smaller lineup, but a quicker lineup. Obviously, Bennett Cook's still the big man in the middle, but we've moved Jordan Ratino to the power forward slot. So this allowed the Sharks the ability to move the ball quicker, to get out and play that fast break transition style basketball. And that's what we saw right from the jump today. And you know, the proof is in the pudding. It's paying off for the Sharks right now. They've put up 55 points on the board, and that's been a long time coming since we've seen that in the tank.
Yeah, absolutely. A year, I believe. Dan Ratledge was telling us that is a mightily impressive first half. And you mentioned Jalen Pipkins. Let's key in on him first things first, because he has been right in the thick of it at both ends of the court. 11 points, the offensive impact that we were hoping for. 13, my bad. 13 on the half. And it was the offensive impact we were hoping for, but defensively as well. Something you keyed in on at the top of the show. We're seeing that too.
Yeah, I mean, he comes from a good pedigree of defense. He was an all-defensive player in his university days, and he came in here with that chip on the shoulder. It's his first time in the tank, first time, playing in front of the home crowd, and he really stepped up. I loved his energy. He kind of led from the front, and he really kind of sparked that offense. And we saw, he was there grabbing tough rebounds, leading the break, finding guys in transition, but also finishing. And then knocking down threes, 3 for 3 from three-point land in that first half. I
mean, just as you've articulated them in the very well done, by the way, the last part of that, he's been everywhere, involved in everything. How impressive is that when he's barely been in the building 5 minutes?
Yeah, well, I think, he's one of those guys, he's already played overseas a little bit. He's trying to make a mark, but he's stepping up to the challenge, and you love to see that from new guys, especially at this time of the season. Coming in kind of a, halfway or more than halfway point is a tough thing to do on a well-established team, but, he's come in and made his mark, and I said it before the game, he's exactly the type of player that the Sharks need, and he's showing up today.
Someone else showing up, Saeed Nelson. What a half he has had, the leading scorer on the court, and some highlight reel action in there as well, Mike.
Oh, baby, you know it. Saeed Nelson's the type of player that can give you those highlight plays. He's a downhill player, tough to stay in front of. But here also, knocking down some great mid-range options from him. And the biggest thing I saw from Saeed is that he wasn't forcing any shots. He was really letting the game come to him in this first half, and that paid off with 16 points. But also getting it done on other ends of the floor, where he had 5 rebounds and even 4 assists.
How disappointing has Surrey's defense been? Are they making it way too easy for Sheffield, do you feel?
Yeah, that's something that we talked about off camera. I think right now Sheffield, they're getting any look that they really want. They're shooting 71% from field goal. So the Surrey Scorchers really need to make that their focus here in that second half. They really need to stop the Sharks in transition, get up on them, lock up on them in the half court, and then individually as well.
You've got to get offensively rolling as well. Sheffield, we knew they were coming into this game as one of the best teams in the business, limiting just 36 points in that half. What has the Sheffield D done so efficiently in the first half?
I think, we saw a couple different styles of defense, obviously starting in man-to-man, but they dropped back to that zone that really looked efficient as well. But the Sheffield have done a great job of limiting the Surrey Scorchers to one and done. So, one shot, getting the rebound, and then pushing out the break on the other end. But their individual man-to-man defense has been extremely impressive tonight. And I think, there's only been really one guy that really hurt them on the other end, and that's, the newcomer, McFoley. But Sharks just doing a solid job. That's what they do.
Let's take a look at McFoley, because you're right. He has absolutely been the pick of the Surrey bunch. At the top, we talked about him not having much game time in recent months. Not that you could tell from that performance.
No, definitely not. He looks like he's a in-season, in-rhythm player here. Here we see the switch out with Bennett Cook, and he takes advantage of that. He's knocked down 3 threes in this first half, and he's already shot 7 threes. So, like we said before the game, he is a volume shooter, and really the only guy that the Surrey Scorchers have going right now, and he's putting a lot on his back.
Yeah, leading scorer for Surrey, particularly dangerous from downtown as well, so they need more of that from him in the second half if they are going to mount a comeback here in Sheffield. But it is a tall order. 19 points for Surrey to climb back into this one. Remember, of course, Sheffield coming into this game in that terrible run of form, just 1 win in 11. Are they turning their season around as far as the league is concerned? That is all to come in the second half. Before all of that, of course, well, we haven't been on air on Sky Sports for a couple of weeks, but the BBL has been rolling on. The action has been coming thick and fast. So we have got our plays of the week, which are our favourites from the last few.
nice pass. What a beautiful assist that is.
It's incredible. Excellent movement without the basketball.
Here's Cook again, squaring up and attacking. Bullying his way to the basket and jamming it in.
That's a tough move and strong finish.
Good defense by Joe. What a pass. Oh, what a block by William Lee. Watch the block as William Lee gets that as apex and detonates all chances.
Well, this is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. Nadia Wang inbounding to Josh Still. Quick three. Three's up. Three is good. Are we serious right now?
Wow.
Giants up by 3 now. Wang goes into the Eurostep. Five John. Oh my goodness! Are you serious? Shaquem Johnson has just committed a crime. He puts them on a poster.
It is a doubly tough situation for you to pick your favourite out of that bunch. Plus, of course, no big man to this. We know Kieran Achara. Shout out to Kieran on international duty. So you've got to step into those size 16 sneakers and drop a disgusting as well. Which one are you going for?
Well, I mean, I hate to say it because the Sharks are playing against them right now, but that Shaquille Johnson dunk was absolutely disgusting.
That's what I love about the commitment there. One of the best Scottish actors. I think it's as good as Kieran's, I think. I think it's fair to say. Brilliant stuff from Mike Tucker. Brilliant stuff from the Sheffield Sharks. In the first half, anyway, it has been slim pickings for them for much of 2023. But right now, they are on course for a much-needed win and a climb up those playoff rankings. Second half, coming next. Second half about to get underway here in Sheffield. So let's go right over to Ant and Dan.
Thank you very much, Nat. Yes, an excellent first half for the Sheffield Sharks. Can they back it up with a great second half as well? As they look to turn the tide on their form. It's Cook down low. Pipkins, top of the key, short. Johnson. He's driving in off the glass, and that will drop for him. He's up to 15 points.
Well, the great news is their new man McFoley is firing on all cylinders. That's a nice move. But for me, again, the offense, not a lot happened there. The ball went from McFoley to Ryan Martin, back to McFoley, and that was it. Really limited movement there offensively from Scorchers, but boy, have they got a scorer in McFoley who finishes the play.
And just to dive into that for people watching at home, the importance of moving the basketball to create gaps within the defense versus just having one guy doing a bit of talent to get them points on the board.
That's it, and again, when you rely on one guy, it's not sustainable. You know, again, missed shots happen, and look, on the defensive end as well, the Sheffield Sharks aren't having to work that hard. You know, the movement's limited, they don't have to work as hard, which means they're conserving energy for this end of the floor, hence why they've got 55 points on the board.
55 points without really needing to feed the big man too much. He's got 8 off 4 shots.
That looks so simple as well. Bennett Cook had time there to pick his spot, which is that over the left-hand shoulder, right-hand hook shot.
Oh, McFoley again from behind the arc. His 4th three-pointer in 8 attempts here.
Goodness me. He is going to be an absolute problem for a lot of the guards in this league to guard.
Nelson. Pipkins in the corner, got caught late, and that will count for 3, and he will go to the line for a bonus shot.
I really like Jalen Pipkins. I like how he came in as well. He's that new figure that's been devastating. That's 16 points personal for him, but he hasn't done it outside of the team's structure. He's waited for shots to come his way. He hasn't forced the issue, and look at that. The focus and concentration on finishing the play.
Well, Mike Tucker's joined us in commentary. Mike, a great first half for the Sharks and a perfect start to the second as well.
Yeah, no, it's been fantastic to watch. I think the Sharks are really finding that rhythm, and like we said, Pipkins is that guy that they've been needing, especially in this second half of the season. He's come with that chip on his shoulder. I love watching this guy play.
Here's Glasgow. Cook looks to attack himself, kicks out to Nelson. Nelson creates room for the jump shot. Rims out, pulled in by Ryan Martin.
That's a good contest there from Johnson, who got over it quickly because Shaheed Nelson really likes that pull-up jump shot.
Here's Johnson underneath to drop it in for 2.
That's just good rim running there from Johnson. He contested the shot at one end and then ran all the way down the floor. Give himself an advantageous position for his guard who found it.
Nelson, 5 on the shot clock. Rotino has all day to line that one up, and he's going to make you pay.
That's poor defense from the Surrey Scorchers there. You know, Jordan Rotino, that's on the scout sheet. You can't leave a guy like that much time and that wide open on the three-point line.
He likes that 45-degree 3 as well. As you say, with that much time and space, there's only really one outcome. Another turnover for the Scorchers into double figures, but they've stolen it back. He's going to set up the 3. There's 2 players there for the rebound. Johnson, one of them, and he has his hands on the ball.
Oh, good show of fight there from the Surrey Scorchers. Excellent play there from McFoley to keep it in bounds. was a very physical tussle there for the offensive rebound. The Scorchers have come up with a 2.
Glasgow for 3. Knocks it down. Rodney Glasgow from behind the arc hits the triple.
And that's the Rodney Glasgow we all like to see, you know, being out there, being aggressive, getting to his spots and getting those shots.
He's only shooting 17.5% from 3 this season, but that one contested, difficult, made it look easy. Carey has to heave here. Gets it to Johnson. It's got to go up. It doesn't go up. It's a shot clock violation.
And that's what we're used to seeing in the Shark Tank. Those high intensity half-court sets. Defensively made things very difficult there for the Scorchers. And, you know, again, this is a Scorchers team that are trying to find their way. They've had mass amounts of changes all year, and now they've got a new point guard who's been in the UK for less than 7 days. So they're trying to find themselves, and you know, what you don't want to do is you don't want to find yourself while coming across one of the best defensive teams in the league, because that's what happens.
Oh, that super ball movement and the two-handed dunk on the end of it for Delpesh.
And that's what you call instant offense. Marcus Delpesh, fresh off the bench, an immediate impact on the game. Big two-hand slam.
No room on the baseline for Johnson. And Surrey just can't quite keep possession of the ball here.
I think that's where the bigger frustrations came on that end of the floor. The Surrey Scorchers haven't been able to find enough high percentage shots in Shaquin Johnson and Ryan Martin. You know, those are 2 big guys there, 6'8", 6'9", against, you know, one of the guards in the Sheffield Sharks, but they haven't been able to exploit that.
Sheffield continuing to shoot the ball really well. Just as to say that's their first missed 3-pointer of the game. They had made their previous 7. Wow. 2 in a row.
It's a drought. They're on a drought.
Yeah. Down to 7 of 9 from 3-point range.
Wow, that's just incredible efficiency from beyond the perimeter.
And they're shooting 70% overall, so it's inside as well. Ogundegbemi in the corner for 3.
And that's what he does. Such good news to have him back in the rotation if you're a Surrey Scorchers fan. Big miss all season is Teo Ogundegbemi.
Back to Nelson driving hard for 2.
That's just beautiful basketball. You see the difference there, the contrast on offense. The ball movement is so crisp. The cuts are timely. And look at this. Shaheed Nelson just straight down the middle. Tough finish.
Well, both players looked at the referee there. I think he was inside the no charge circle. So it can't be an offensive foul. I don't think it was a defensive foul. I think it was a good no call.
Solid play there from Johnson. He's really the only inside presence that we've seen from the Surrey Scorchers tonight, pumping him up to 14 points.
Again, great ball movement. It's on the floor, that foul. But we've seen it a few times. It's just zip, 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 and there's somebody open down on the baseline.
The Sharks look like they're just gonna re-energize the offense right here. You know, the ball moving around quite easily. You know, the cuts are happening at the right time. It just looks like it's all really coming together for them tonight.
Well, positivity can be just as contagious as negativity, and you know, Hopkins coming in here, and look, this is a coach, Satiba Lyons as well, who's been around the block for a long time in this league. He understands how it works and knows a formula that you need to make in order to be successful in this league, and he may have just found something here.
Well, the one thing you would say about Atiba on this full run of form for Sheffield, there have been times over the years where Sheffield have had bad runs of games, but he always gets it right at some point, and they usually have a good run to follow that one, and they'll be hoping this is the first win in that good run.
Yeah, I can definitely second that, being a part of many of those teams, that he always finds a way to get all cylinders firing at the right moment, and that is usually right before the playoffs. And I barely got that coming out.
Delpesh driving on to the hole.
Wow, good finish there from Delpech. Aggressive, nice left hand finish there from him. And optimism around the Sharks at the moment as well. Of course, yes, they've had the dreadful run in the league, but they're still in the trophy. Massive win against the Leicester Riders down in the Morningside Arena, which means they're still on course for taking home some silverware. And you Sheffield Sharks have a knack for that. Regardless of what's going on outside or in the league, you figure out a way to put yourselves in finals to win championships.
Yeah, definitely. And if you look at their schedule in the next few games, there's a lot of winnable games in the foreseeable future. So the Sharks have a big opportunity now, starting with tonight, to change the season around.
Well, that's the thing, as you say, if the few wins in a row in the league, and then if they can find a way to win that semi-final as well, and everything changes with that as Dobson is scored for the offensive foul.
Great energy from Marcus Delpech tonight, taking on that responsibility of coming off the bench, but being that kind of sixth man, that warrior, bringing the energy whenever he subbed in.
He enjoyed that. I love a player getting pumped for taking an offensive foul like that.
Well, again, it's a team that, they expect to be higher than they are, so I'm sure they're working very hard and diligently behind the scenes, and these little plays can amalgamate into winning streaks and higher positions in the league.
Oh, it's a nice pass. Delpech couldn't quite get that one to go. Couldn't force it home. He almost stole it away. He ended up standing on the ball as a result. And that is what the referee scored.
You love to see the hustle, though. Rodney Glasgow was on the floor first to it. That's what you want. You want that leadership from the front. And, oh, yeah, that was the step over that made himself fall over.
and that's the difference between mediocre teams and great teams, is the teams that are willing to make those plays, get those deflections, get down and gritty. And that's something that we haven't seen from this Sharks team in quite some time.
Offensive foul again called against the Scorchers. Carey this time.
We're really keeping an eye on those offensive fouls tonight.
Well, I'm not sure where that came from. It was definitely number 5 that was shown to the table, but I would have thought it was Jack Domney rather than Carey. The referee's actually now going to come back to the table and just confirm that. We're going to now confirm this. Well, it's fair to say none of the Surrey players are going to volunteer that it was them.
Come on, someone take one for the team.
Well, it's actually gone the other way. It's gone against 5 against Sheffield. So it's Pipkins for running in there. Not an offensive foul, but a defensive foul. And you can see what Atiba makes of it. Not very much. He's not happy. Well, I think the comfort margin of an 18-point lead has tempered Atiba's reaction.
Yeah, that's a lot easier pill to swallow, isn't it? When you're up by 18. Goodness me, another whistle.
Well, that won't lighten his mood as it's against Kipper Nichols.
What's another positive, I think, for the Sharks as well? Kipper Nichols, 2 points. Hasn't really, been able to get into this game offensive-wise, but he hasn't needed to. So I think when you add into the equation, goodness me, that was a hard throw.
Carey is just massively overthrown that. Steele was trying to find some way of taking off in the backcourt and throwing it into the front court, but he's absolutely, that's halfway downtown.
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating for Coach Lloyd here. The referees have handed you 2 plays in a row, 2 whistles in a row to try and get something out of your team, and a throwaway possession like that.
Well, Surrey on course to go past their season average for turnovers, which when you're the worst in the league is not a good thing. Couldn't quite keep that in bounds.
Great hustle play there from Marcus Delpeche on the rebound, not giving up on the play and forcing the Surrey Scorchers into a turnover situation.
Nichols open for three, knocks it down.
Oh, just way too easy. Not really a whole lot of things going on. Good execution, but it's a simple play. And Nichols finds himself open, stepping into that three-point shot.
Steele, long two, knocks it down.
Another good addition back from injury, Josh Steele. Player who's been around a long time, made his Division 1 debut when he was 14 years old, so he's been playing in this environment for a long time.
Pass! Oh, it's gone in! No, it's an offensive goaltend. He pulled the ring. He pulled the ring. Delpeche went for the monster jam, the big highlight play, and you watch, he kind of misses it, and he hangs on to the rim, which is offensive interference.
Oh, right. Wow.
You can't, once the ball's out of your hands and up like that, if the ball's got a chance of going back in, you can't be swinging on the ring like that.
That's got to be frustrating there for Marcus Delpeche, you know. Great pick and roll, good catch, strong dunk, but wasn't rewarded with the finish.
Well, the fans not happy. They wanted to see the highlight play. Well, they saw it, but it just doesn't count. It's one of them. It's one of them for the highlights that you just edit out the end of the play. There we go. Just cut there.
Oh, no, Dan. I feel like I've seen baskets like that count before.
I might be biased, but that basket's good. But count that basket.
That is correct from the official, and they've actually had to reshift the basket because him swinging on it moved it slightly out of position, which is why there's a delay in the game. They've re-centered the basket so we can get the game back underway. He's not happy about it, but I think it's in the rule book. About a 5-6 second differential between shot and game clock. Chuck Domney down low, looking to go to work. Too strong off the glass. Glasgow pushing. Last couple of seconds of the third. Glasgow under pressure. Doesn't go. Well, Surrey won that quarter, but they only won the quarter by one. Trading baskets, not enough for the Scorchers. Sheffield more than happy to go score for the remainder of the game because they already have a big lead. 75-56, fourth quarter when we return. Welcome back to Ponds Forge, where Sheffield continue to dominate. They've scored at least 20 points in every quarter. They have 75 points on the board already, and they only average 72 a game this season. Such has been their offensive efficiency today. And Dengby challenged by Nichols.
Good defensive possession there from the Sharks. Obviously, you know, Scorchers will want to come out in that quarter, make a push, make a run, but Sharks doing a good job of dampening their offensive flow.
Nichols just towed the line, doesn't go anyway.
I think this fourth quarter is big for both clubs. You know, they'll both be playing it like it's 0-0. Now, again, this game might be out of reach for the Scorchers, but they need to build on this now. They've got a new piece of the puzzle. They've got players coming back from injury, and as you see, Ryan Martin confidently locking down that three. But these are parts now where you can change a season off just one quarter of play.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel learning how to close out games, figuring out ways to close out games, and getting that experience is vital to a winning team.
Foul on Carey, who had the unfortunate job of trying to battle with Cook down in the key. He's got his arm around his waist.
Bennett Cook saying, why even try? But Bennett, that's what he does best. He's really good at recognizing mismatches and ducking in on smaller players, forcing the foul.
Well, they've got him again inside. Even against the bigger players, he's able to do it.
That's just beautiful basketball. Bennett Cook working hard, doing what he's supposed to do inside, and his teammates swing the basketball and a nice post-entry pass.
5 shots, 10 points for Bennett Cook. And speaking of guys putting points on the board, that is 5 3-point makes in 10 attempts for Josh McFoley, 22 points.
The frightening thing about him is he does not need time or space to get his jump shot off. It's just quick release, very difficult to guard.
There's Cook inside. Nelson, top of the key, knocks it down.
Beautiful shot there from Nelson. Just everything in rhythm. Didn't hesitate and just let it fly.
Carey driving to the basket, and he is fouled, and that would have been his first field goal attempt of the game. Instead, he will go to the line for 2 free throws, and Kyle Carey, who was only missed 1 shot last week, scored career high 33 points, career high 6 made 3-pointers, and he just hasn't had a look here today.
No, it's just a shame that they couldn't find a way to incorporate him in the offense early, just because when you get a guy coming off of a 33-point game, you want to ride that wave, ride that form. You know, players don't change ability over week after week, but they'll certainly, you know, their confidence is higher and lower week in, week out, and that's a player should be high on confidence. You want to, again, ride that wave.
Cook driving strong, first miss of the game for Bennett Cook.
Good resistance there from Ryan Martin.
Carey off the mark, wants a foul, doesn't get one. Nichols, the blocking foul. I must admit, it looked like Foley had pushed Nichols in the first place into Martin. Oh, there's a little hand there.
Well, I think that's a hard one. Ryan Martin's unlucky there. I think he has position in there. He's stationary.
Yeah, it's in a game where so many offensive fouls have been called. That was interesting to see that call there.
Well, a timeout has been called here because Atiba Lions wants to talk things over. Sheffield's lead is down to 16 with 7:15 to go in the ball game, and what he won't want is Surrey to get a little bit of momentum. Maybe the home fans start to get a little bit nervous. This lead gets a bit lower.
Yeah, I mean, there's still time in this game, and The Surrey Scorchers have all the capabilities to send players in that can start cutting away at this lead here. Definitely one of those guys is Mick Foley, 22 points on the night, knocking down 5 big threes. What a debut for this guy. We talked about before the game that Surrey Scorchers are a team that lack a little bit of identity. We don't know who their best player is. They need a leader to step up. So McFoley's been that guy tonight, definitely, stepping in. And I've seen him a few times getting frustrated, yelling at guys, barking at guys. But is it too little too late?
Well, Sheffield fans will certainly hope it is. They'll make their way back out onto court, the Sharks. It'll be 2 free throws for Kipper Nichols. Off the mark, but 80 on the board for the Sheffield Sharks. It's only happened 7 times this season. Martin all the way to the rim, but can't get it to drop. Nichols, top of the key. Surrey with the rebound. There's the mismatch. Knows to get a hand up. And that was enough.
Bennett Cook saying, I'm not making that mistake twice. I'm getting my hand up on this shot.
That's a big man. That's the last guy you want to be mismatched on, isn't it? McFoley, after seeing what we've seen him do so far this evening. So it's the Sharks now just trying to find their form again offensively, and why not? Put the ball in the hands of Pipkins, the guy who's carried you so far this evening.
Well, that was tipped in by, well, they've given that as a 3. I'm sure Teo got a hand on that, and that's what Atiba Lyons is saying, that was tipped in, but they've given that as a 3 to Kyle Carey.
I'm just more impressed by Teo's athleticism at this age.
Nelson short, but he rips the ball away, so Sheffield get possession. That one comes out. Steele has it. Foley resets for 3. He's going to get a flop warning for his troubles.
Man, Mick Foley is not shy of letting it fly from 3-point land.
Sharks got to be careful here. That 3 goes down. Things become a little bit more tighter for them.
Nice pass and a good lay-in for Bennett Cook, and with 5 minutes to go in the ball game, Lloyd Gardner calls the timeout. Out the back of that Cook score, he's up to 12 points.
And that's just a sign of good things to come there.
Let's have another look. Here's Kyle Carey's 3, and we can see it rims out. Teo gets up there. Does he tip it in? Yes, he does. That should be 2 points, not 3. So Carey got a 3-point for that, when really, I mean, it probably would have gone in if Teo didn't tap it in and been worth 3, but the fact he gets his hand on it means it should be 2 points for Teo rather than 3 points for Kyle.
Well, Kyle Carey's coming off a 6 for 7 shooting 3-point night down, so when the 3-pointer gods are in your favor, they're in your favor.
Yeah. Well, Atiba Lyons certainly saw it, because he was arguing the case, but the officials did not. Well, it's been a difficult old season for Lloyd Gardner and his assistant Kalen Raftopoulos. Wins have been few and far between, and nobody takes defeats harder than coaches. And that has really not helped them. What is that? 16 turnovers now for the Surrey Scorchers. So many of them have just been careless ones like that.
Really difficult too.
Pipkins on the alley-oop pass, and he jams it in.
Wow, that's your backcourt punch there. Throw the ball high, and Pipkins skies to make the finish.
Welcome to Sheffield, young fella.
Inside to Delpesh, who tosses it in for another 2 points for the Sheffield Sharks. They are up to 88 points as Carey fires up a three.
Uh-oh, watch out. Kyle Carey coming off that red-hot game last week. Stepping into the three. Nothing but net.
Well, Sheffield, this is their best 40-minute score of the season against the BBL team. They had 102 against Manchester. That was a double overtime game. They had 88 against Plymouth. Here's that alley-oop dunk as well. Perfectly timed pass.
Beautiful pass, beautiful finish. Jelon Pipkins can fly.
Delpesh inside. Oh, second attempt. He forces it home and will go to the line for a bonus point. Sheffield with 90 points on the board.
I love Delpesh's energy today. The first one doesn't go down, but he stays with the play. Just pure brute strength. Gets that one to go. And he has brought that energy this evening.
Just to clean that one up, they had 98 against Thames Valley in the trophy as well, but in league play, this is the first time they've got 90 in a 40-minute game. This season, obviously. Assuming Surrey don't come back and force overtime, obviously, as Delpesh gets called for the foul, and that's what McFoley's three-point shooting is done. They've had, when they switch on that, the big guys have felt they've needed to get out there and close that out. He just got a little too close to him.
Yeah, I thought that one was unfortunate. I think he does a really good job to get out there, but in the landing patch there, or landing space, that's where the foul's committed. But you're right, Dan, I think anyone and everyone in this league has to be weary of McFoley and his shooting the three ball.
Well, Atiba didn't really have it easy to come up with a scout report on a guy that got announced, about 6-7 hours ago. But the rest of the league have this footage now to clip up.
They do, and this is a natural scorer as well. You look at his college resume, he's someone who's scored the basketball at prolific rates and has played in Slovakia for BC Predza, averaging 16.5 points a game, and second division in Finland where he averages 30 points a game. So, he's a guy that scores the basketball consistently wherever he goes. Now he wants to explore the terrains of the British Basketball League.
Good stats you got there, Ant. Enjoying that. Is Glasgow. You missed the big stat, which is Surrey the first team in the history of the BBL to play 3 Joshes in the same season.
These are the important statistics we need.
Only Routledge could cover a stat like that.
Nice drive to the basket. There he is again.
McFoley just relentless on the offensive end. 25 big points for him tonight. What a debut from the young fella.
Well, you can't help but feel as well, they stick an Andrew Lawrence in the equation like a natural point guard and have McFoley playing off him. That makes him even more dangerous because you've got the distribution there of Andrew Lawrence, but also McFoley can just be that scorer.
Nice little toss for two.
What a contribution from Delpech tonight. 14 points off the bench. Just efficient, shooting 70%. That's what you want to see out of a sixth man like Delpech.
And both of the big guys have played well this evening. Bennett Cook and Delpech, I thought they both really put in a shift.
Well said there, just as
curse right there.
Over.
Great recovery from Delpech, though, not the foul.
He'll be thanking Rodney Glasgow for that one.
I think the Sharks fans are just wondering if their team can get another 8 points here. Got the century on the board. There might not quite be enough time. Nelson spinning to the rim. Probably isn't now. Another turnover. Steele losing it out off his own leg. 17 turnovers now for the Scorchers.
Well, it's going to take Josh Steele time as well. Remember, he's been out for the majority of the season as well. I think Surrey need time, but unfortunately we're here in late February and time is certainly against them in that regard in terms of making a push here for the playoffs. It's not over, but they're going to need a miraculous recovery and they're going to need it fast.
Well, this is game number 24 for them, and they have only 2 wins. And the team currently in 8th place is playing game number 25 and about to take win number 9. So that's 7 victories behind. Of course, they played 36 games this season, so they've got to make up 7 in 12. I mean, it's almost, they have to win virtually every game. Sheffield, to this point of the season, have been the lowest scoring team in the league. But what we've seen tonight is a lot of offense out there in Sharks uniforms. And yes, Surrey have helped them out a little bit with their defense, but this is a template for Atiba Lyons and his team to try and replicate going forward.
Look, this is a Sheffield Sharks team that, wins have been really difficult for them to come by. Just won in the last 11. So, sometimes just winning a basketball game give you the world of confidence. They had a big one again in the trophy. This will be another one in the Shark Tank.
Nichols with the block. Sheffield get the ball back. And time will expire. A much needed win for Atiba Lions and the Sheffield Sharks. And they have done it in dominant style. 31 points in the first quarter, their best quarter of the season. 55 points at halftime, their best first half of the season. The offense really came to play. Pitkins certainly a big part of that with 20 points. Nelson as well in the backcourt with 19. Numbers up and down the roster for Sheffield.
Well, you're mentioning a number of individuals there, Dan, because it was a team performance. I thought offensively, they looked like a team who have played a lot longer together. They played with confidence, they played with conviction, and they were led by their new guy, Pipkins, who was just excellent. A very efficient 20 points for him that didn't really take him outside of the team ethos or system. They're good display from Bennett Cook, Delpech inside. There's just contributions from across the board here. I think Coach Atiba Lions can feel real positive about this performance.
And Surrey, well, I mean, it's another disappointing defeat. I mean, the one upside, Josh McFoley scoring 25 points and 5 assists, but they're at the time of the year where, there's no moral victories in sport, particularly when you've only got 2 wins on the board.
No, and it's going to be now over to Coach Lloyd of how to integrate Josh Foley's talent into this structure, because this isn't sustainable. They can't keep going games and games where Josh McFoley scores, these impressive numbers, but everyone else just sort of stands around and watches. It's not good for them on either end of the floor, so they have to figure out a way now to incorporate his talents there and then push everyone up, much like Pipkins has done for the Sheffield Sharks.
Well, I think that look tells you more than either Ant or I possibly could. Here's the numbers in the game, and you can see Sheffield shooting 8 for 14 from behind the arc. This is a team that, for most of the season, weren't really taking three-pointers. They've made 8 tonight. They shot 60% from inside the arc. They've had 20 assists. They've done this in excellent fashion, and they have won comfortably, 92 points to 74. And Saeed Nelson, who had 19 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists, is with Mike Tuck.
Saeed, you're filling up the stat sheet tonight. A huge home win here in the tank. The boys are happy. How does it feel?
It feels great, man. It's a big victory. We've been on a drought and lose a lot of games. But we've been coming to practice every day, just working. It's a long season. We're still in the trophy. We still got a chance to move up in the playoff race, so we're just gonna keep working.
Biggest difference in the game tonight, you guys looked like you got out in the fast break and the transition game a lot better, especially at the start of the game. Right. Was that the plan all along?
Yeah, man. We got a lot of fast-paced guards. We just picked up my man Pitt, who had a great game tonight. And, when we get stops, because we're one of the best defensive teams in the league, we get out in transition, and it was working today. So that definitely played a big part in our victory.
Let's talk a little bit more about Jalon Pipkins. What has he meant to this team coming in? What has he added?
Great energy, and just great dude off the court. I know he's only been here a couple weeks, but he's been filling in, doing what he's supposed to be doing. And you see what he can do tonight, athletic, everything, and that's what we need. So I'm happy he had a good game, and he's going to continue to help us.
Big 18-point win, definitely a confidence booster for the squad, especially in the late run of games.
Right.
Could this be a crucial turning point in the season for you guys?
Absolutely. We just need to get one under our belt. We got a trophy game next week, so we're going to get ready for that. And yeah, man, we're going to keep coming, man. Like I said, we got like 10, 11 games left. Yeah, just keep working. Keep working.
Let's talk about that trophy game going up against a tough Cheshire team, but a team you guys played against before and beaten before. What's your mindset going into that one?
Just play our game, not get caught up with their play style. They play fast paced, and if we keep doing what we did tonight, I think we'll be good for the rest of the season. But like you said, just the trophy game, it means a lot. We won there at their gym early this season, so I know they're going to be coming out for revenge, but I think we're ready, man. It's just the little stuff. We've been getting better at it day by day, so we'll be ready.
Saeed, incredible performance tonight. Thanks for your time. Congrats on the win, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, you said it, Mike Tuck. It really was a superb performance from Saeed Nelson. 19 points, 8 boards, 7 assists. Drew, just an all-round performance from him. And we talk about players that galvanize a team. Saeed Nelson from the get-go seemed on it tonight, didn't he?
Absolutely. He did a little bit of everything. He got the mid-range jumper going, and if anybody benefited from this new style, this new approach of the Sheffield Sharks, it was Saeed Nelson.
Let's get into that all-new Sheffield Sharks that we've seen here tonight, because let's face it, for much of this season, all of this season, quite frankly, defensively stout, but offensively sluggish. It was completely different tonight. They were clinical. They were effective. And perhaps most crucially, they were fast. There was a speed and dynamism about their offense.
Yeah, it felt like that movie Face Off with Nicolas Cage. I'm like, who is this team? And boy, this is what this team needed. We talked about they're one of the best defensive teams, but their pace was so slow. They put so much pressure to score on each possession. You need to score easy baskets. How do you do that? Get off to the races. So the chains have been unlocked and the boys are off to the races, and you saw that performance here today.
Yeah, the fans absolutely loved it. We really enjoyed watching it. I'm sure you did at home as well, and I'm certain that coach Atiba Lyons enjoyed it. In fact, as you were talking just then, Drew, I was reliably informed in my ear he was smiling. It may be the Nick Cage face-off reference that got him laughing, but I suspect it was probably the performance from his team. Let's hear from him now. He's with Mike.
Coach Lyons, a big smile on your face after a huge win. How does it feel?
It feels good. I think, we've been knocking at the door for a while, and I just got tired of everyone asking me why we keep losing, so I figured why not try to get a win tonight.
And some big adjustments, obviously bringing in Jalon Pipkins, but also making a big change to the starting lineup. How did that affect the game tonight?
Well, I think, like you guys said, it was a lot more aggressive defensively in the passing lanes. We're a little more quick and maybe sharper in transition. So it was a first-time thing, but it was good to see.
The transition definitely looked good in that first half. Finishing the game with 55 points and on 71% shooting. Was the transition the biggest difference?
Yeah, it was the defense led the transition. I think all season we've had these opportunities. We just haven't been able to capitalize in transition as much as we have tonight for different reasons. But, we get stops, we get long rebounds, transition opportunities. We just haven't been able to convert them even last game. So, we just got to keep working on it.
We brushed briefly on it, but Jalon Pipkins coming into the game tonight, his debut in the tank, finishing with 20 points. Talk about his importance to the team.
I think he brings an element we haven't seen yet for us. He's a two-way player as far as defensively. He really gets after it on and off the ball, and offensively he's a three-level scorer. He made a floater, he had a three, he got a pull-up, and he made some great passes down the stretch. So a little bit of everything from him, and I think that's kind of a piece that we've really been lacking.
And obviously, we're getting to the kind of the meat and potatoes end of the season here. A big win at home. Could this be a big turning point for you guys right now?
I think so. Well, hopefully. We've always played good basketball, I thought. We just haven't got over that hump. It's too early to kind of say we've got it. We figured it all out. We've made some mistakes. We shot the ball extremely well, which masked a lot of mistakes that might have happened. So we've got to look at the film and still get better.
And one final guy who definitely played well tonight, Saeed Nelson, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, just filling up that stat sheet. A quick word on him.
Talented guy. He's had up and down. He had that calf injury early in the season. I think it took a while for to recover. Took a while for us to get him back to where he was playing before that injury. We were playing really well. And with the change, it just takes a little bit of teething issues. So I think we're figuring it out now. We're all getting comfortable.
Coach, great win tonight. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Certainly look comfortable. It's impressive, really, when you look at a coach like Atiba Lyons, who is one of the most experienced in the game, and so therefore knows, and successful, so knows what works, knows his style, knows what he wants from his team. It takes incredible strength of mind to say, okay, the league is changing, or certainly this year I need to change things up and make those moves. Impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's coaching. It's about evolution. Anybody that stays the same in professional sports, you get lost in the sauce really easily. So that's a real credit to him. And the biggest move that he made was inserting Pipkins into the starting lineup, moving Kipper Nichols to the bench, where he's probably been their best player all season. A move that can potentially shake up a roster, right? But it paid dividends.
And Kipper Nichols, of course, been here for a number of years now as well. Certainly one of Atiba's guys. Well, Jalon Pipkins had an absolutely brilliant evening, and he seems to be already winning the hearts of the Sharks faithful. 20.6 boards, including 5 defensive boards, something we talked about at the top. 3 steals, assists in the mix as well. Much like Saeed Nelson, he was everywhere.
Absolutely. What you expect, a Texas boy representing Texas. But Rodney Glasgow said it to me pregame. He said this guy is athletic. He can get his own shot. He reminds me of the Antoine Johnson last year. Remember when they brought him in? And he's an end-of-the-shot clock guy that can create his own, and that's what you need in this league.
That energy as well, bringing, and we heard Saeed Nelson talk about his energy, his attitude off court, which is crucial, I guess, when Sheffield have been on a run like this. Now, I guess the same could be applied to Surrey. Difficult situation for a franchise like this who've had a tough run, a tough season, and there is still plenty of ball to play. Let's get the perspective of their head coach, Lloyd Gardner. He's with Mike.
Coach, commiserations on the loss tonight. A tough one here in the tank for yourself and the team. Where did it all go wrong for you guys?
I think lots of things, really. We didn't play with great energy at the start. Don't think we executed anything we talked about. Just lots. Nothing really went too positive for us today. Disappointing performance.
And the Sharks obviously shooting the ball at a super high level. They were at, I believe, 71 points in that first half. Was that, their ability to knock down all the shots, was that a key factor for them?
Yeah, I mean, they played great. Nothing away from them. I felt like, you know, we're concentrating on ourselves. We gave them that rhythm. We gave them the ability to get comfortable. Obviously, 30 points in the first quarter is just too many. And from that point, once you've given professional basketball players, guys like Sheffield have, the comfort, the kind of, you know, just the ability to make those shots, then it's going to be a long night. And then, yeah, from the opening tip, don't think we were ready to play.
And obviously a tough night for most of your guys, but there was one shining light in your newest player in McFoley, 25 points, knocking down 5 threes. Talk about his impact on the game.
Yeah, Josh played well, scored the ball. Obviously, we're still trying to integrate him in. So I think that, you know, hurt us a little bit as well, him playing such heavy minutes as our only point guard. But yeah, individually he played great. We've got to integrate him with everybody else. But yeah, the defensive end is probably the biggest disappointment for us. And yeah, we've got to get better there.
How frustrating is it with injuries, dealing with injuries, especially at the point guard position?
Yeah, I mean, obviously today, no Andrew Lawrence, no Luke Busumru, no Jalen Ray, no Padilla Wang, who's with South Sudan as well. So take 4 guys out of any team's backcourt, I think that they'll struggle. So, yeah, it is frustrating. I think that we've just got to have the mindset, we've got to keep going. No one really cares that we've got some injuries and everyone wants to beat us. So that's the perspective we've got to put. And, you know, whoever's on the floor, we think we've got to play with more energy than we did today.
And you talked about it before the game, keeping that positive mindset through these tough times. How do you move forward from this?
Well, same process as always. We've got to go, you know, we've got to turn around. We've got another game this weekend on Sunday against Caledonia. So we get, you know, the BBL schedule gives you a chance to redeem yourself. If we can turn that around on Sunday, play a lot better, that's a positive. We'll just be recapping, you know, going over the same things that we've been talking about, you know, really trying to make these adjustments of everyone being on the same page.
Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
There was this stark shot of him just after the end of the game, the 1,000-yard stare into the distance, and you could see there in that interview with Mike, understandably, he feels really, really deflated. How do you bring a team up for the rest of the season? How do you bring yourself up when you're in the firing line week in, week out, game in, game out like Surrey are?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's the unfortunate thing about professional sports is that you can't hide. Everyone is still watching, so they still have a lot to play for. They're playing for the future. Obviously, this is Lloyd's first year, and in my opinion, what they need to play for is their identity. What are they going to be? Are you going to be a team that score? Are you going to be a team that lock people down? Or you get down and dirty? Right now, we don't know that answer, and we need to know that before the season finishes.
Well, we hope he's given more time. I'm sure he will be, because as you say, there is a lot of potential within this organisation, and we certainly saw that front and centre with Josh McFoley. What a performance from him. What a debut, to be precise, from him. We heard about the minutes from Coach Gardner that he put in, 34 to be precise, and he made them count. 25 points, and he was so confident, wasn't he? Just hitting 3-pointers left, right and centre all night.
Very, very impressive. His first game all season, and we talked about it with Carrington Love. When we saw his first game, he slipped. He didn't have his legs, and this tells you that this guy has been in the gym working. He's in shape. He's getting down. He's getting down in the paint. He's getting his shot off. And what a talent they have on their hands.
They could certainly build the positives around that, and him stepping right in as though he's been playing in the BBL for years. But some of the other big names, established players in this Surrey side, didn't really show up and live up to their potential tonight, did they?
Yeah, and if you think about all the names that were missing tonight, for me, I'm most disappointed in Kyle Carey. Last week, 33 points, a career high, and he didn't take his first shot till 7 minutes and 25 seconds left in the fourth quarter. As a player coming off that type of performance, you need to know if that performance was an aberration or is this the new me? And unfortunately, he waited too long to get going tonight.
Back to that identity question. Just a quick one on Sheffield without trying to rain on their parade, because it was a mightily impressive performance. But how much can we really tell about this new offense, given how poor Surrey were defensively this evening?
Look, it might be a little bit of fool's gold because of the opponent, but at the end of the day, we saw pace, we saw athleticism, we saw energy, and that translates no matter who you play. So there's a lot to be excited about if you're a Sheffield Shark fan.
Speaking of pace and energy, that's a perfect segue into our play of the day. Check this out. In the end, we were debating it, weren't we, as the game was going on? There are a couple flying around, but then this happened, and it's a no-brainer.
They said he was a high flyer, and Nelson just throws it to the rim, and Pipkin does the rest. Wow.
I mean, talk about sealing a brilliant performance. I mean, on another night, he could well have been MVP. I tell you what, though, He might not have got the MVP nod tonight, but he's almost certainly going to be involved in our plays of the week next time around. So we might get a Kieran Achara disgusting for his troubles there for that. It was brilliant. Congratulations to a fantastic all-round performance from him and indeed the Sheffield Sharks. And this is what it means as far as the BBL league table is concerned. No change in terms of position for either team. Surrey further adrift at the bottom, and you've got to think now it's going to take a miracle for them to run the table, frankly, to get in the playoff race. Sheffield, will they stay in 8th? But the win, along with that win in the trophy against Leicester, is going to give them some much needed confidence. The trick for them, the focus for them now, as far as the league is concerned, is to keep on rolling, work themselves up the playoffs and get as high a seed as they can. That is, of course, the MO for a number of other teams in the BBL, some of whom are in action this weekend, including Plymouth and Manchester. They square up on Sunday at 3 p.m. And then Surrey back in action themselves, heading to Caledonia. That's a 5 p.m. tip on Sunday. There is plenty more where that came from. A fantastic March in store for you. Some brilliant games lined up. Let's check out what we can look forward to.
Loving drives in, takes the contact and the finish.
It's showtime.
Fletcher strings it, long two.
Let's go Gladiators.
Gets into the key, kicks out, Onwas, room for 3, and he hits.
The second silverware of the season to be decided. Your friend Fletch nailing the showtime there. Nice. Never misses a trick, and cannot wait for the trophy finals as well. Coming up at the end of this month. Before all that, though, how about this? The Leicester Riders against the London Lions. That is our game next Friday, 7:30 tip. 7:30 on air for a 7:45 tip. We're on Sky Sports Action and YouTube, of course. And what a crucial game that is going to be. Are we calling this, I think you might have done actually, if memory serves me correctly, a must-win game for Leicester if they want to retain the title?
Absolutely. It's a must-win game. They lost the first matchup. They at home. They got to get it done.
London might be in control of the league race at the moment, but Leicester have a lot to say about that. You do not want to miss it. Make sure you join us next Friday night, 7:30. We look forward to it. We'll see you then. Bye for now.